so what else do we lack? Like what I was saying earlier, what do Singaporeans do that we don't? And how do we compete in the global scale?
Well, that's a big question. That's a tough one. I wouldn't say necessarily that Singapore is better, right? But I think Singapore is definitely more global, more connected globally, and partly it's because they have to. If they're not connected to the world, it's very difficult. They don't have a lot of resources. It's kind of small city-state island, so they always say, Singapore say, like, our people is all we have, the human capital. And the human capital we have is partly a function of having people from around the world being connected to the global communities, having foreigners there. People ask me, like, hey, how's Singapore? What Singaporeans like? I mean, now I can answer, but can you believe it that in the first, I would say 5-6 years there, if people ask me what is Singaporean like, what is society like, I couldn't answer because I never hang out with Singaporean. I always work with foreigners. I was in finance then, and I travel a lot. So the only interaction I have with Singaporean is, I don't know, like maybe the taxi driver, people on the street sometimes at food stalls, which they call hawker center. Just then, that's it. The rest is, it could be English, French, American, Chinese, India. Different sorts of life, right? And I think that's what Singapore has become somewhat. It's kind of like global village in a small city-state. And it's interesting because they manage that very carefully. They know that they have to be connected to the world. They bring the world to the small island, that country. But they curate carefully. They have kind of different paths for different kind of level of workers, white collar, blue collar, different. They change the quota. They recognize the problems. If they bring in a lot of workers with a very high salary, after a while you have problem of real estate become more expensive because this guy buy house and the price goes up.
Yeah.
Right. If they have people with more like blue collar workers, if they're not carefully screening, they could have like overcrowded population as well in certain areas. So they have all these issues they have to contend with. And I think all of those things are very interesting for Thailand to learn from as well. Of course, we're not that small. We have more options in general, but we are facing aging population, which means that the average age or median age of Thailand now is actually very similar to Singapore. It's 42, I think. Right. And our working age population is shrinking. So at some point, we're going to need people to do work to support, the aging population, which means we need to get more connected to the world. We're going to get more foreign workers, some foreign talents to come to Thailand. We're already seeing that a little bit here.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of digital nomads, a lot of foreign talents. And there's going to be a lot more of that in the future. So I think we can learn from that because if we don't manage that well, it can become really messy.
True.
You want to manage it well. You want to have a society where people can live, different international communities can live together. And it can be a really great mix because you can learn a lot from them. And that's where you get the international connections.
Yeah.
Because you have, people from Europe here, you have from America here, from China here. You have different connections that you can connect back to the countries. And that's how you build the global community, I think.
Yeah, we always hear the word like going global, but instead of going global, we can make our country global instead.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Bring the world here.
But that needs regulation of some sort, right? From the government in order to make everything like balance.
Yeah.
Like you said, so it wouldn't create like new problems.
Yeah, exactly. You need both deregulation and regulation. So sometimes we have the wrong set, right? So the deregulation is like, for example, we have so many restrictions on foreign talents that we need. Foreign tech talent, financial talents, in environmental, sustainability expert. We have so many restrictions. Doctors and nurses, we sorely need those talents. We still have so many restrictions. They can't come, right? And we're going to have a lot of problem in that. On the other hand, we have a lot of frankly, gray kind of economies as well, where the foreigners are like, hey, are they here legally? What's going on? And that's quite a mess to sort out as well. So there's both sides of the problem here, but we need to get that right because as you said, part of going global is also bring the global the world to Thailand. And then that will help us eventually to go broad as well. In tech is very clear. When you have Singapore get a lot of foreign investors like venture capitals, incubators, these guys who come and don't just invest in startups in Singapore, but they just don't just give money, but they give them global network. So they invest in the startup and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to bring you to Silicon Valley. Hey, you know what? I know a good scientist in Israel. Hey, I'm going to help you tap into the European market because that's where I'm from. Those kind of things. So that's how being connected to the world, bring the world here, help us bring us to the world.
Okay.
คว้าโอกาสล่าอนาคตล้วงอินไซต์ The Standard Economic Forum 2023 Future Ready Thailand เศรษฐกิจไทยไล่ล่าอนาคตรวมผู้นำระดับโลกและไทยกว่า 40 คนไว้ในงานเดียวพบกับเศรษฐาทวีสินบรรทุลล่ำซำเศรษฐพุทธสุทธิวาฒนฤพุทธสุรเกียรติเสถียรไทยสุประชัยเจียรวนนท์สุภวุฒิสายเชื้อกอบศักดิ์ภูตระกูลพยงศรีวณิชคัตยาอินทรวิชัยสมโพธิ์อาหุไนยธนาธรจึงรุ่งเรืองกิจฟาบริซิโอซาโคเน่พบกันวันที่ 23-25 พฤศจิกายน 2566 จัด 3 วันเต็มณศูนย์การประชุมแห่งชาติสิริกิติ์ซื้อบัตร Early Bird ราคา 2,500 บาทได้แล้ววันนี้ถึง 31 ตุลาคมเท่านั้น